Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bulela Podcast. My name is Ingutu. I host a weekly segment on my podcast, Bulela Podcast, and it's called Celebrating Our Music. I normally have interviews with musicians from Zambia. I also do music album reviews as well as music video reactions. This week, I'm very fortunate. I have two guests who belong to a music group. You're going to find out everything that you need about them. Remember, you can check the links for their socials in the description of this episode. So, dear guests, maybe you would like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, so I'm LK Culture. I'm one of the members of the Freaks ZM. Currently, I'm based in Nairobi with the family, just on a holiday. I'm studying in Uganda, so I'm just here for like a short period of time. And
Excellent.
yeah,
Okay. And who else?
Hi everyone. My name is Luendo Sia, but I go by the name Just a Freak. That's my stage name.
Okay.
Yes, I'm located in Zambia, Lusaka to be specific.
Okay. I really, really love the East Africa connection. My guests are the Freak Zambia, as you've heard. I'm going to ask them the typical standard question I ask all of my guests. Okay, so first question, Luendo, maybe you could answer this one first, and then we'll let LK Culture answer this one. Are
Okay.
you regular listeners of Bulela Podcast? Could you tell me which of the many interviews that I've put out are your favorites and why?
Okay. I just got recently put on to Bulela Podcast. My friend LK Couch introduced it to me. So far I've checked out a few of your episodes, and I would say one of my favorites is the Dons. Why? Because um, it's good to see familiar faces there on your podcast. That's a sign that at least things are moving. Things are moving forward. It's good to see people you come from the same place with. You know, there.
Good. Very good answer. Very good answer. How about you, LK Culture? Could you tell me, and could you tell my listeners which one of my podcast episodes have been your favorite and why?
okay. So first of all, just wanna appreciate you real quick for introducing the initiative of your podcast. I think it's taking Zambia to the next level.
Oh,
I first heard an episode when you're reacting to the Blacklist music.
oh
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Okay.
and the most recent, the Dawn. Uh, I like the Blacklist one because we don't really have that aspect of music in Zambia. So just bringing in an analysis of music like that to the industry is important. And yeah, the Dawn one was good because he's a friend of mine, and seeing him being put on to a new whole platform, and just people getting to know him, and the way you executed the interview was perfect.
Okay. That's why I do what I do. I want people to know that there's a whole lot more to Zambia. Our music and young people are really really doing amazing work. So this is sort of like if I always say I listen to a lot of Zambian music, but I think it's also important to include the interviews because then they also listen to you. So I'm so happy you've mentioned the blacklist. You've mentioned the Don. He's my most recent interview, episode 46. I'm so happy. And you're going to be one of the episodes that I'm uploading soon. So thank you very much. I
Thank
would
you.
like both of you. I mean, yes, you've already said, for example, Luendo Culture, you said you're in Uganda studying, but you're in Kenya now for vacation. Um, I want you to give my guests, not my guests, my listeners, a more detailed intro. Tell us what music you do. So maybe LK Culture, you could go first, and then Luendo, you could tell us. I want you to tell me what you do in the music industry, what genre of music you make, and why.
All right, so we're the Freaks them as a duo, and
Mhm.
we make hip hop music. Um, I can't really say on behalf of both of us where the inspiration comes from or the motivation as to why we make the music. But one thing I know for sure is hip hop really inspires us, and we just want to have our own say or our own type of content that we can put out because we do make good music. So, yeah, one of my inspirations actually was my uncle when I was still very young. He's called Damox. He used to make music, hip hop. I think he quit now or something like that. But he really used to inspire me, and I thought there was something Zambia can add to the global aspect of hip hop per se. But we're also multi-genre, so we make different types of music.
Okay, brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant. Luendo, you wanna add on? You wanna say something?
Yes. So hip hop is something that inspires us, like LK Culture said. So I'm a rapper. We're both rappers. I'm a songwriter too. I'm a singer, but I rap mostly. I rap mostly. So my inspiration comes from, I come from a musical background. My dad
Mm-hmm.
himself, my dad himself back in the day was in a band, and when I was young, I would see my dad play with his FL Studio, trying to mix master records. So it didn't make sense at that time. But then as I started to grow, I started to fall in love with the whole music, and now it's clicking. Like, my dad used to do this all that time way back. So yeah, my dad plays a major role in inspiring me to do this music, because yeah, he even plays bass guitar. Yeah.
Wow. So, do you want to tell us your father's name or is it a secret?
uh, Simwami.
Simwami. What
Yeah.
band did he play in?
It's a small group coming from Sinazongwe, Southern Province, so they call themselves the Zongwe Stars,
The
something.
Zongwe Stars. Did they like release a record?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
music did they make?
They made music mostly in Tonga,
No, that's
So
good. That's
yeah,
good. Oh
yeah,
wow. Well, I'm so happy for you because very very rarely, like I've done so many interviews over the last couple of years. And very rarely a lot of people come on here and they have family who's been making music. So you're one of the few guests that I've had on that say, right in my house, my father, for example, made music. So it's easier to, not really to convince, but they understand, because you've seen
yeah,
them making it. So I really like this aspect of your
yeah,
background, and that's why I'm so happy that I do these interviews, because if we didn't do this interview, then we wouldn't know this about you you know
yeah,
um, I think by now it's pretty obvious, and then you've already mentioned that LK culture, that you are in Uganda studying, and that and Luendo, I imagine, yes, your father may have
yeah,
had roots in Sinazongwe, but maybe you're someplace else. Just tell
yeah.
people very quickly. We'll start with LK culture. Could you tell us where you're based? I know you've mentioned Uganda, but it's okay. It doesn't matter that you mention it again. Where you based, in what country, and in what city? Um, do you um, do you think that your roots, where you grew up, did they or do they have a major impact, or do they have like do they factor in the way you make your music? Does it affect or impact or influence how you make your music, your upbringing, your culture, where you are now? We'll let LK
Yeah.
culture answer first, and then Luendo, you can answer us afterwards. Okay.
All right. So I'm currently based in Kampala, Uganda. I'm in my third year. I'm studying journalism and media. So I'm about to go back to the homeland. That's Zambia.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Mongu mostly, but also Lusaka because we used to move a lot. And when we used to live in Mongu, my mom owned like a chain of nightclubs and bars. And most of the time, I'll be found there like during the day when the bands are practicing and doing their music thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I would be interested and intrigued to be like, what are these guys here? What are they doing? Um, they will let me in, make me play some instruments like the drums. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really good, but yeah, it was just something intriguing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it really does play a major background from where the music is really coming from. And also, my uncle he was based in Mongo at the time and he used to rap in Lozi too.
No
So that was just
way.
an interesting, type of
What's
music.
his name? What's your uncle's name?
He's called Damox. He released some records, but those are the times we still had CDs and tapes. So I
All
don't know if there's
right.
anything online.
Okay, okay, okay. So Mwazibasi Lozi.
Ahulu fela luva Lozi lona.
Okay, good, good, good. When the next interview look as a Lozi.
On a trial.
Okay, Luendo, don't feel left out. Okay, do you also speak Lozi?
No, I speak Tonga.
Well, well, my Tonga is very, very, very sketchy. Kamwamba basa.
Kabo tukamwamba.
Okay, that's all I know. I'm sorry. Um, but yes, LK culture is that it? You want to add on some more? Do you think like so? If your uncle rapped in Lozi, would you say? Yeah, you did say before that he was an inspiration. So then, your upbringing, your mom's business, you being able to play the drums,
Yeah.
being able to watch band practices, it sort of like gave you the impulse, to the
Yeah,
push to try and work in music. I love that. I love that story. Is there anything
Yeah.
more you want to add?
not really. I just guess also maybe the high schools we went to also gave us like a stepping stone to dig deeper into our talents. I remember back in primary, I used to like recite slab D's raps or something like that when the power is out. So yeah, just a little bit of that. And also at Rosangu, we went to the same high school with Jais, so it also gave us a little bit of foundation because we used to have rap battles and some things like that. So yeah,
Oh, I love this. I love this. I love it. I love it. Love it. So you've been in touch and in contact with music in many shapes and forms, live bands, rap battles.
yeah,
So it's not surprised that you guys rap now. Luendo, like LK culture, could you tell us where are you based? Country, city, and could you tell us if your roots or your upbringing have a major factor in how you make your music currently?
All right. So I'm currently in Lusaka, born and raised in Zambia. So yeah, where I come from plays a huge role in the music I make because uh, let me start off by saying the background. I come from Lusaka City, and the environment there is, if you've lived in Lusaka, there's a way people in Lusaka, sorry, relate. And to be honest, I think everyone in Africa kind of relates in some way. We meet at a certain point, so it shapes
Mm-hmm.
the music I make. I make music from an African perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I tell an African story. If you hear
Good.
me, yeah, if you hear me rapping, I'm always rapping about coming from Lusaka, and people from Africa relate in some way.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
I love it. I love it. I love that you say all of this, and how, yes, your city. I'm Lusaka born and raised, and anyone, I mean, because I love music, I'm sure if I was into books and somebody wrote about Lusaka, I would also love their work. But I listen to more music than I read books currently,
yeah,
about relating to Zambia and the like. So it
yeah,
makes my heart full, to be able to speak to a young rapper from Lusaka, and that's one of the things why I like doing these interviews, I keep saying this because if you don't come on my podcast, and I don't know, you are one of the few people when I go to your profile on
Yeah.
Apple Music, yeah,
Yeah.
because I use Apple Music and I have this really huge playlist of Zambian artists. You're one of the few artists, yeah, who
Yeah.
have a profile and a bio. You know, it says something about you. And this makes me so happy because, you know, people who may not know you, they're going to, I always insist people stream your work or musicians' work legally. So I will be
Mhm.
pushing and asking for people, you go to Spotify, go to Apple Music. And it makes me so happy that they will come to your profile, the Freak Zambia, you know, that's the both of you there, but you have a little bio. So this makes me so, 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 so happy. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're doing good. You're doing good work. So now that I'm on your Apple Music, I know more than my listeners about you. Yeah. But I want you to tell them, you know, how many albums or mixtapes have you released to date? Do you have a favorite project? And why is that project special to you? LK Culture, you could go first and answer that, and then Wendo, you could answer.
I think me and Jess can both agree Freak Poetry was one of our most worked on extended playlist, the
Mm-hmm.
EP. We recently dropped it in March, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Um, Apart from Freak Poetry, we have Alona. It's a single. We've got Mute featuring Eddie Kid. Alona is
Yes.
featuring Klavic. Yeah, those are the few projects we released this year. And also
Okay.
just getting our old projects onto all platforms. So yeah, there's also that. But
Yeah.
my favorite project per se is Freak Poetry because we really struggled to just put it out there and just work on it. You know, being in different countries, putting and ideas together, just piecing
Mm-hmm.
the whole project together was a lot of effort, and it came out perfectly. So yeah, Freak Poetry is my favorite, followed by
Okay.
Elona.
Okay. How about you,
Yeah.
Luendo?
Um, to date, we've released two APs. The first one that was Freak in the Booth. We did that one immediately. We just finished school. That was our first project.
Mm-hmm.
Then we recently dropped Freak Poetry. Oh, before we dropped Freak Poetry, obviously we had a few singles.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I I would agree with Culture too to say Freak Poetry is my favorite project too because it's a project where we really stepped up. Personally,
Yeah.
I would say yeah. Personally, I was involved in everything like the beat making, the recording, the mixing, the in the first when I didn't know what was really going on, I would just go to the studio, record a song, go back, wait for the producer to send it back to me. But Freak Poetry, I just really stepped up to be the one who was. Some nights we spent some sleepless nights, sometimes just trying to record one song. It was just me and him. So it's something
Mm-hmm.
that yeah, it's something that we are proud of to say we did it. We made this project.
You should be. You should be. I love the album art actually because I'm
Yeah,
looking at it. It's, you know, the coloring and you've got 6 songs. You've one you feature Chico. I mean, I'm just mentioning that because I can see it easily on my
yeah.
Apple Music. But when you make an album like this, you know, this is how do you come up to the final decision? Okay, about we're going to feature so and so. How were those decisions made? Maybe LK Culture, you could answer that one first, and then Luendo, you could let me know.
Okay.
Um, Mostly deciding for who's going to feature on which project. We don't really like expound on it because some people will be reaching out to will be a bit either slow or just like less interested in the project. So normally
Mm-hmm.
when we have a project at hand and Jice is normally the one on deck, we're normally like in a studio full of creatives, and if someone is really like bumping to the beat,
Yeah.
we'll either put them on or think about it, then discuss it, then we put them on. As
Okay.
for Clavic on Freaky Freestyle, yeah, I think it was something like that. He was one of the people working on deck with Jice, so he heard the project and he was like, "Yeah, this is dope. Let me hop on it." Um,
Oh.
for Chico, that's all Jice. I don't know about that, but yeah, we normally discuss it from time to time, like who can we feature next or who can we work with. It depends with the energy we get back, because people nowadays are a bit sketchy with how they hop on collaboratives and everything. So yeah,
Okay. 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 It's very interesting that you say that. Luendo, you wanna give us some insight also on your on
Yeah,
collabs?
yeah. Just to add
Yes.
on. Also, like in the freaks, I'm the one who's, you know, the one in the background, mostly with the beats, trying to come up with the beats, trying to organize the beats. So usually when I'm coming up with a beat, or I have a beat in mind, I'll look to say, okay, I've got this guy, I've got this guy, I've got this guy. So if I'm trying to make a song like this, who will who will give me that flow, that, like that's what I'm looking for in that beat. I'll look for a couple of artists I know. Then I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
like, I think this one will go well because of the kind of music he makes. Because of how he sings, I think this beat will suit him. That's how I
Okay.
also go about it.
Okay. Very good. Very good. That wasn't like a planned question, but I think it's a good thing to ask you because it's your most recent work.
Yeah.
I'll move on to my next question, and I want each of you, to tell me who are you listening to right now. They have to be Zambian, okay? Can you name 5 songs or 5 artists that you're listening to each?
all right. As for now, I think I get a little bit stuck on our project, so of course, freak poetry is my number one.
Okay.
Um, I would put Understand by Cleo Ice Queen and 26 Oreo, or whatever his name is. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
Oreo. Yeah. There's Baby Where You Going by Clavic. There's Believe and Achieve by LJ Mojo and Omsopela Crown.
Ah, okay.
And there's Sully for the Wait by Sully the Rapper.
Okay, okay. I've heard a lot of things about Suli the rapper and her album. So I guess I should
Yeah.
make time and listen to it properly. Thank you, LK Culture. How about you, Luendo?
Um, freak poetry too. Sampa the
Good.
Great, yeah, Sampa the Great, Mascon, featuring Joey Badass, because I look up to Joey Badass and make sing Sampa, make that happen with one of my idols. That was amazing. I listen to it almost all the time. On number two, Umaume, July, featuring Jinaima, K-Star. It's just like a funny song. Like the
It
verses are,
is. It has
yeah,
me laughing so much. The lyricism. Oh, it's so
yeah,
so funny. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah. Yeah, Cleo Ice Queen featuring the Fake back then. I love the Fake too. I think main culture as well making songs. We have some beats that we hope one day we could work with those guys because we love their music too. Yeah,
Good.
yeah, and Vayubu Chef 187 is just
Mm.
also a vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. Okay, good list, solid list. I like to ask this question because and I insist that they're Zambian because if we're not um how do you say the music ecosystem in Zambia, if we're not tapping into it as creatives ourselves, we can't expect outsiders to jump on the hype too.
yeah,
So I love to put my guests on the spot. Yeah, I'm sure you could name a million and one other artists
yeah,
from all over the world, but for me it's important that we continue to fly the Zambian flag high. Okay? This is a podcast by a Zambian. and my focus is having Zambian guests. And I love when my guests also give me, like artist names like you've done right now. Really, really brilliant. I love your answers. Okay, let's move on to my next question. So I want 4 examples for this next question. So maybe you could give me 2 each, maybe to make it fair. Okay. What for you is the value of the music industry in Zambia and for Zambia's economy? Okay. Could you please give 2 examples each? Maybe LK Culture, you could go first, and then Luendo, you could go second.
All right.
Okay, so Zambian's economy has not always been at its best, but the Zambian music industry has developed from over the past decade, and what I can say is really starting to set the foundation for Zambian music out there is the online streaming, because mostly we
Mhm.
used to just download songs and listen to them on our phones offline and things like that. But online streaming at least gives us platforms, gives us numbers to work with. It gives us the foot in the door to put our music out there to the world, and also it just helps the artists brand themselves and get into collaborative deals with different different brands. There's Mix Kasama doing his thing. He's not really an artist, but it's giving him something to work with. He's getting deals with MTN, Steers, so it's also helping put like some type of value to say the music is bringing something in too. It's giving people something to work with, something they can live on. Because the back in the day when we didn't have streams and everything, I don't think people were really making a ton of money or a chunk of money. But now you've got streams, you've got shows you can rely on, you can start anything literally now with the social media being one of the top monetizing um, platforms for creatives and artists. So yeah, I feel in the future the economy is going to be stabilized, but it's also going to give different artists and creatives the chance to make that type of money from their
Mhm.
streams and their music and everything.
All right, very good. Anything else you want to add, or should we let Wendo speak?
I think I don't have anything else to add, so Jais can take the floor.
Jice, you're up.
Okay. To add on, I would say music is a universal language. So music can be applied everywhere. So let me say the sports scene, um, the movie scene, like the movie making industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. How the music industry could like help in those ways, because we've got like influential people, and people love music and they love their artists, that so when they see people like Slap D and other people, huge people trying to like come together, maybe with the sports scene, maybe in the movie industry, that will give people like the zeal to wanna check it out, of which that will generate more revenue. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. No, I love both of your perspectives, from the streaming revenue to how the music industry is fundamental, not only just to the industry itself, but it could help, or it could work very well with the movie industry, the sports industry. So I love that you say it, as an outsider, as a fan of Zambian. Oh, well, I say Zambian music. Some people don't like this when you say Zambian music, but of music made by artists from Zambia. It makes me happy that you also are working in your field in the music industry, and you have a broader perspective on where what influence or what impact your work is going to have. Okay, so we are coming down to the end of our interview, and this is where I want you to quickly tell my listeners, okay, where they can find you on social media, I found you. Oh no, actually, you wrote me. Actually, I shouldn't lie. This is a lie. You wrote me, and I'm so happy that you did, because I always keep saying, if you want me to interview you, if you want me to talk about your work, or even a music review, please just write me. So I'm so happy. If I haven't said it, I'm so happy that you sent me an email, and we finally managed to get a date for the interview. Okay, but tell my I don't know why I confuse guests and listeners, but please tell my listeners where they can find you on social media, where your music is available, so they can stream it legally.
Legally, I like that. Um, so our social media profiles are streamlined, so the freaks
Hmm.
Z them across all platforms:
Good.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Well, we're not on Twitter yet, but yeah, we're working towards that. So the freaks Z them throughout. My personal handle, you can find me at LK Culture the Freak throughout.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jice the Freak everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, whatever media you can. It's Jice the Freak.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. And I'm going to include your Instagram um in the bio, in the description, or for this episode when it's finally up. I want you to tell people where your music is available and what you want them to stream, what you want them to be, like they've listened to this interview, they've listened to your background, they've listened to what inspires you, who inspires you. So tell them what you want them to listen to and where it's available, please.
Okay.
Uh, of course, Freak Poetry, since
Yeah.
it's still active. You can find it on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, whatever you want to. Audio Mac, everything. Freak
Mm-hmm.
Poetry would be my go-to. Yeah.
All right. Is that the same for you, Luendo?
Yes, Freak Poetry available on all streaming platforms. Uh, we have a couple of few singles also.
Yes.
Alona, and Culture. Which one was that?
Mute featuring
Yeah, mute,
Mute.
Sticky.
mute, mute, mute. Yeah, mute.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at your Apple Music profile. You've got when they say singles and EPs, you've got Mute, Alona, then they Free Poetry, Cycle of Life, it's a single,
Yeah,
Sokoneza, a single. So and that's nice. And I told you have a really nice bio. Okay, I'm gonna.
thank you.
I just want to take a moment and say thank you, listeners, for tuning in to another episode of Celebrating Our Music on the Bulela Podcast. I'm Ingutu, and my guests were the Freak Zambia. Check the description box to find links for them, for their profile on Instagram. And please remember to stream music legally. Okay. Do you, as my guests, want to say something else to finish off?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to come here, share our story, shining a light on us. That's
Okay.
so that's so thoughtful. And to the people listening, once again, stream Freak Poetry out on all streaming platforms. Thank you,
Oh,
thank you.
no,
Yeah, I
you're
also
welcome.
wanna just pass my thanks, and hopefully we'll work more in the future. Ni podcast ya maslows
Certainly.
wako na kuyeza. But yeah, thank you for
Actually,
the opportunity.
you're
Yeah.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you both. Nitumezi Ahulu,
And sure.
Twalumba Kavotu.
Kalumba, Kalumba.
Really. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I know it's not easy to make time, but I really appreciate your openness and talking on my podcast and talking about your work, because like I said at the beginning, it's really about you selling yourselves. And I love your story. I love your background. And so thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Find information about my guests in the description box. Bulela Podcast has been nominated for the APVA Awards. I would appreciate it if you took out a moment and voted. Check for details on how to vote and where to vote on Bulela Podcast's Instagram page. I will catch you in the next episode.